Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today is Priscilla Clark. She is Development Manager for the Connecticut Humane Society. She swears that she has been on the show with me in a different capacity before, but we'll have to go back into the archives for that. Priscilla, welcome to the show.
Thank you,
welcome
Sean.
back to the show, maybe.
Thank you so much.
Connecticut Humane Society. Now, we're going to get to the big faux fur ball stuff a little later on in the show, but let's start out with just some background on, for those who might not be familiar with the Connecticut Humane Society as an organization. So let's start talking about that.
Fantastic, Sean. Thanks for having me on the show today.
It's our pleasure.
So, Connecticut Humane Society, it's a fantastic organization. We were founded in 1881 by a 17-year-old girl who went to Hartford High School.
Wow. So
Amazing.
So the National Humane Society started in Connecticut.
Actually, we're not affiliated
with
Humane Society
That's
of the United
important
States.
to note.
We are born and raised in Connecticut, and we serve the entire state of Connecticut.
Is there any kind of affiliation since the name is the same at all? Is there any interaction at all?
No, although we will participate in if there's any emergent weather issues that have caused animal homelessness. For example, years ago, Katrina, we actually did send a team down to Katrina to help find the homes of all the pets who were lost.
So there are times when it's mutually beneficial to work together, obviously.
Exactly, but we focus on the state of Connecticut, and we focus on what we can do for residents of Connecticut, as well as what we can do for other organizations in Connecticut who also help animals.
That's important. I was going to get into this a little bit later, but since you mentioned it, just because the Connecticut Humane Society exists in a town or near a town that has also its own municipal shelter, that does not mean that there's a competition, adopt from this place instead of that place. That's not how it works. In fact, I work on the radio. We do a local Pet of the Week thing with the Quaker Hill Connecticut Humane Society, and they're often swapping pets if one's not moving from one place. So talk about that a little bit.
We definitely do. We support municipal facilities all across the state, and so that's your local police department's dog pound, as they used to call it.
I hate that name.
Exactly.
It's not a good name.
It's definitely not a good name.
Shelter is the name that we like. Yeah.
There you go. Because it's an in-between place to finding their home. And because the state of Connecticut, we all know, is having some fiscal difficulties.
Yes, that's being nice about it, yeah.
Thank you. A lot of towns are really feeling the pinch, and a lot of times their municipal budgets are being cut, and a lot of times it's for the animals. Now, what we do for pets in municipal shelters, Sean, is if a municipality, let's say New London, right here, or East Lyme, has a pet that's in need of medical care, they don't have funding for it, they bring the pet to us, we provide the animal the medical care it needs, and then it can either return to the community where it came from, where it was lost, or just let go of, and it can get rehomed in the town where it came from, or we will take the pet. If a pet is in a shelter, in a municipal shelter for a long period of time, and they come to us and say, this poor pet really needs to find a home soon, we will do everything we can. We do a lot of social media as well about our shelter pets. We have volunteers who come in and take videos of the pets. We upload them to YouTube. Whatever we can do to find homes for pets, not just the ones in our shelters.
Now, the YouTube stuff and all that and social media is great to sort of spark your interest, but you really need to go into the facility to see if there's a connection, right? To see if there's chemistry between person and furball. Right?
Definitely, definitely. So our website is very complete. It's live time, what we call, which means that as soon as a pet becomes available, their photo and their description is on the website, including hopefully some videos too. Complete description, whether they're good with other pets, whether they're good with other pets of their own breed.
Whether they need a big house or a big yard and not a small apartment or something, anything.
Or if they can be in a small apartment.
Yeah.
Or if they can be one of those pocket dogs that's in the little purse. So folks see a pet that they're interested in, or several pets that they're interested in, they come down to the shelter, which is all 3 of our shelters in Connecticut are open 7 days a week. So it's a fantastic opportunity for people to come, right after work on a weeknight or during the day on a Saturday, and just come and meet the pets. And
you're going to fall in love with one.
Definitely going to fall in love with one. Yeah. I know it happened to me last April. I was at work and I fell in love with one of the pets there. So
You know, let's go back to when you said it formed. It was founded back in the 1800s sometime, right?
Yes.
Was it determined way back when that an organization like the Humane Society was needed way back then?
It's an amazing story of our founder, and she was a 17-year-old girl who went to Hartford High School. And so Gertrude O. Lewis really decried what she saw happening with animals. Companion animals, for example, people from New York City would come to their summer homes in Old Lyme and Old Saybrook and Fenwick, for example, and they would take on a pet and then they would just leave it. And when they would go back to the city in the fall, so she saw this happening. She saw this happening in a lot of communities, especially vacationing communities here in Connecticut. So she brought together all of the ministers and pastors of the greater Hartford area. She went to one and said, I need your help. I need to gather a group of people who will listen. And that's what they did. They gave her a platform, a forum, to be able to speak about this. The Humane Society originally helped out, so supported, found resources for women and children, the elderly, of course, companion animals, but also work animals. Then there were farm animals. There were horses drawing wagons back then,
Yes.
not a lot of automobiles.
Right.
Until the state of Connecticut in the 1960s developed different divisions to protect those, the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Wildlife, Children and Family Services, at which point Connecticut Humane Society in the 1960s just put their focus on companion animals and have been able to bring animals and families together, but that's only one thing that the Humane Society does.
Right.
Yes, we do have 3 shelters. We're in Newington, Waterford, and Westport, Connecticut, so we're a big triangle in the
Right.
state of Connecticut. We do also, right now, have one reduced fee veterinary clinic up in Newington, and we do have plans in the next several years to actually build out public veterinary clinics in New London and in Fairfield County.
So that's in the pipeline, huh?
That is in the
Wow.
pipeline, and we're very excited because if you have a pet, you know how expensive it is.
Right. So public versus just your regular vet that you would go to now. Public, maybe the pricing structure might be a little different.
Exactly. The average prices at our reduced cost clinic are anywhere from 20 to 45% off. So if you're looking at a veterinary bill of $300 or you're looking at one of $125, it makes a big difference for so many families. It makes the difference between getting your pet the care they need and not being able to afford that.
What's the target date for these new ventures? Do we have one yet?
I think we're going to be launching some information on that
Okay.
In the coming year.
Okay. Try to get you to
And
break the news on the show here, but not going to happen, huh?
It's kind of exciting because our Waterford shelter, if folks are familiar with it, it was an old cinder block building, and then in 2010, I believe it was, we opened the newer shelter, which is on the same property, which is really state-of-the-art air filtration system, so if one cat sneezes, they all don't get sick.
Right.
I could go on about that.
The Humane Society should be a place where all these things should be, state of the art. Because to be
Exactly.
totally honest with you, I'm sure that you've experienced this. There are some municipal type shelters where it's kind of depressing sometimes in some of them. And I know that a lot of the towns might be understaffed and underpaid and not enough time is put into it. But some of the places are a little shaky. They just don't look good. You know what I mean?
I
not a place that a
completely
pet or a
understand.
human would want to be.
And a lot of people I'll invite them to come for a tour of one of our shelters, and they walk in and their eyes are just very wide because they can't believe what
I want
they're
to
seeing.
move in here. Yeah.
Exactly. They can't believe what they're seeing. So it's, again, the facilities are an opportunity for us to grow and serve more of the community. The 2 buildings on the Waterford property that I was just talking about, they just leveled the old building about a month and a half ago.
Wow.
So that's gone. So we're making room for larger expanded facilities. We'll be doing that in Fairfield County as well, and in Newington as well. It's a largest facility is in Newington, but we will be expanding that one as well.
Big plans.
In the coming years.
Yeah.
So we have reduced cost veterinary care. We have, of course, our sheltering. We have animal training classes. which is so important. A lot of the pets, if they are a breed which really needs a learned owner to have a really good, happy life, maybe it's a working dog breed, maybe it's a larger dog breed. In some cases, we will require that the new parents of the pet take a class with us.
I was going to ask you to sort of expand on that a little bit more. Obviously, the ultimate goal is to get as many pets into as many good homes as possible, but there has to be some sort of a vetting process, right?
Definitely, definitely. You can't just walk in and say,
Right.
I want number 3.
Yeah.
So we know a lot about these pets, and it's an opportunity for us to sit down and find out about you, the potential owner, the potential family. What is your lifestyle like? Do you have a lot of time for your pet? Do you maybe not have a lot of time for your pet because you have a lot of other interests? We will make sure that the right pet goes with the right family at the right time.
Because you don't want to have too many coming back, obviously, or any coming back if possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if for some reason it doesn't work out, we want the pets to come back to us.
Yes, right. To safety and maybe to eventually to the right home.
Exactly. And I have to say, a lot of smaller shelters do not have that capability. We can do that. We are blessed because we have an incredible amount of supporters. We only have about, I think about 90 employees all across the state.
90?
At all of our facilities. We have nearly 500 volunteers across the state.
That's key for your organization. For
Yes.
a lot of nonprofits and your organization, volunteers are crucial, aren't they?
They definitely are, and they help us to be able to expand the services we can provide to the pets and also to the families who are considering adopting, or to those families who need to surrender a pet to us. It's another service we provide. If they're unable to, if a grandparent goes into a nursing home and no one can take her small dog or her cat or whatnot, we will accept surrendered pets, and we will make sure they get the medical care they need, and we will find them a new home. So it's not an ending.
Right.
At Connecticut Humane Society, it's a beginning. We follow these pets
I know
throughout their lives.
you always want them to come back whenever possible if they need to, but do you find that nowadays there are some people out there that are very nonchalant about, the pet maybe not necessarily fitting into their lifestyle anymore, so they surrender for reasons that aren't acceptable, at least to me, an animal lover myself.
It's hard because we just want,
Right.
our thoughts are
Safety,
about the pet
safety,
first.
safety, yes.
And if for whatever reason, if somebody, and it doesn't have to be a pet that was adopted through Connecticut Humane Society. It can be, as I mentioned, if someone's no longer able to take care of their pet. We had an amazing, very, very large German Shepherd come to our shelter a few years ago in Newington. He was quite sick, not for his owner not trying, but she was displaced. She was living in her car, and she knew her dog was very sick, so she brought him to us and surrendered him. She was able to find a place in a shelter to live, but they wouldn't accept dogs.
Right.
So we Junior was his name, and Junior had a lot of medical problems. He had a 5-pound cyst in his stomach.
Wow.
So that was like, the size of a good heavy ball.
Yeah.
He had a little disinterest in eating after all of his medical procedures.
Weight dropping and everything.
Weight dropping,
Yeah.
and for a very large dog who's older, that's
Yeah.
dangerous. So he came up in the offices up in Newington regularly, and I would sit and eat my lunch with him and see if he would take anything that I was eating. He decided he liked yogurt, so that was
Oh,
good.
Good.
We had a foster family who took him into their home. We provide all the supplies for foster families, as well as the medical care for all the pets. He was rehabilitated to the point that he was adopted.
Excellent.
And
A happy ending.
a very happy ending with an older gentleman who said, I want to give this old guy a good life.
Because he knows what it's like.
Exactly.
The owner himself. Well, let's go into the break on a happy note then. We'll take a break. I want you to give out the website for people to go and learn more.
Oh, definitely. We are available online at cthumane.org.
All right. We'll come back. We've got a lot more to get to. Priscilla Clark is the development manager of the Connecticut Humane Society. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay right there. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. Priscilla Clark, Development Manager, Connecticut Humane Society, is with us. What is the roles and the duties of the Development Manager, besides go on TV, of course?
Yes. A lot of the time I will be giving tours. I will be doing educational lectures, not just at schools, but also to business associations, clubs, to learn more about what we do. And a lot of times I work with groups in the community who want to help the pets and they want to organize their own event. So I will actually help them organize whether it's a fundraiser or a collection drive for the pets, for supplies we need for the shelters. We'll work together, and I'll help them have as successful an event as possible. I spend a lot of time with donors, finding out just what the right opportunity is for them, as well as I organize our 2 signature fundraising events.
Which we will get to in just a little bit. One of them, the
Yes.
Faux Fur Ball. Are you involved with trying to get more volunteers to be involved whenever possible? Because you're always looking for more, I would imagine.
Exactly, and we have folks who volunteer in the shelter, so the people who cuddle and play with the cats.
Right, you can
We have
sign up for that, right?
dog walkers,
Yeah.
exactly.
Love that.
People can look for volunteer opportunities on our website, cthumane.org.
Obviously, everybody who's involved as a volunteer has got to be some kind of an animal lover in the first place, because it just makes sense, right?
Exactly, and I do have a lot of folks who will come to me. There's one woman who lives here in Waterford and said, I met her at an outdoor event at Waterford Week several years ago, and she said, I can't volunteer in the shelter. I'm gonna want to take them all home.
I was thinking that too.
So she has been volunteering on my event committee with me for the last 4 years now.
Wow.
For our Faux Fur Ball.
Wow, that's great.
So there are a lot of different ways people can help the pets. They can make a donation of cash. They can donate their time as a volunteer. We even have a link on our website to where people can donate a car or a boat. And they can write that off on their taxes. There's a lot of different ways people can make gifts of stock. They can put the pets in their will.
Wow. There's a lot of different ways you can help out and not even realize it, right?
Exactly. Don't just have to adopt. There's a lot of different ways
Obviously,
to help.
the ultimate goal is to get adopted, but are you involved in fostering programs too? How does that work?
Yes, our foster volunteers
I like the idea.
get thoroughly trained. They receive all the supplies they need. For example, I believe on our website right now, we are looking for foster families for dogs who have just been through surgery, as well as dogs or pets who have just had a litter of puppies or kittens. Because we are coming into springtime,
Right.
and it's going to be puppy and kitten season, and we will, unfortunately, see a lot of pets that were abandoned or mistreated, who are pregnant,
Right.
who we want to find homes for everybody.
Obviously, you also advocate neuter and spading whenever possible too, right?
Yes, spay neuter is very, very important, and that's one of the big functions of our reduced cost veterinary clinic, the Fox Memorial Clinic in Newington. A spay neuter costs very little at our clinic, and there are a couple other clinics in the state that do the reduced cost programs, and the money it saves over a pet potentially having litters year after year after year, it's phenomenal. It's healthier for the pet. It's going to make the pet happier, give them a happier life. Spay, neuter, saves lives.
Now, this is just a fact of life. Strays and feral cats, they exist. There's nothing that you can really do about it in the sense of trying to catch them or capture them. They're feral. But I suppose if you cared enough, you could make their life a little easier, right?
Exactly. There are a lot of groups in Connecticut. Connecticut Humane Society doesn't manage any feral colonies, but there are groups in Connecticut, if that's something that one of your viewers is interested in getting involved with. There are communities of volunteers who will go out and feed feral cat groups, as well as trap them for spay neuter,
Right,
and then they
release
return them. Exactly. They clip their ears so you know that they've been spayed or neutered.
I think I've started feeding a stray who has no interest in being my friend at all, but he is willing to accept whatever food I offer. Very skittish and everything, but I can't help myself. So, well, before we run out of time, let's get into it. You have to generate revenue somehow. You have to get funds, and one of the ways is fundraising functions, like one of them is the Faux Fur Ball, and that is coming up very soon.
It is coming up very soon. The Faux Fur Ball is on Saturday, April 9th at the Hilton in Mystic. It's our first year with the Hilton, so we're very excited to be there.
Nice place.
Beautiful hotel. It was just renovated. The food there is amazing. It's going to be a really, really nice evening for anyone who wants, again, how else can I help the pets? You know what? You can buy a seat and come to a party. What better way to help pets?
Yeah, get dressed up, and just have a fun time.
Exactly. So the Faux Fur Ball, it's an evening event, so it's cocktail attire. So you wear a tie, maybe don't wear a tie, and women can get dressed up as much as they want. Exactly. So complimentary, fantastic wine and beer. There's open bar also, or cash bar also available. We have past hors d'oeuvres. We have stations. The really fun thing about this event is not only the music and the dancing and the photo booth and all the great things we have to enjoy, but it's the auctions. So we have an amazing silent auction. We have a live auction of some really amazing ideas. We've got some really fantastic items, trips to the Caribbean.
Nice.
Some amazing jewelry.
These are all things that were donated,
Yes.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And all the money raised from the Faux Fur Ball goes to the medical care of all the pets in our shelters. So whether they come in and they need a spay-neuter, if they need we just had a gorgeous little pit bull dog come to us who had a broken front leg that was not repairable. So we actually, our veterinarians who are on staff with us in the building all the time, they removed his front leg and he was adopted 2 days later. I mean, it's amazing. So whatever the animals need, we do for them. If they need dental work, especially if it's a cat that's been out on the streets for a while and they haven't been eating very well, they're just like humans. Their teeth are very affected by their diet.
Should we be surprised at how how an animal, especially a cat, since they're feral, are able to survive, especially in like sub-zero temperatures that we've had over? They can actually survive that, can't they?
They can survive that. Some of us are not quite sure how they do it.
Yes. How do they do it?
Because we always say to folks, really, especially with so much wildlife coming into the state of Connecticut for whatever reason, coyotes and wolves, whatnot.
And they'll go after pets sometimes.
It's really important, whenever possible, unless it's a barn cat and you have a big farm, keep your cats indoors. For dogs in the winter, make sure that you're keeping an eye on their paws, on their pads.
Right, you should wipe those down.
If there's
salt,
even in the summertime, pesticides. What do dogs do? They lick their paws.
Yeah.
So, taking care of a pet is a lifelong experience.
it's like taking care of a child.
Pets are your children.
Yeah.
And they're part of your family. They bring so much joy to everyone. And Connecticut Humane Society just wants everyone to be able to experience that to the fullest they can. In 2015, we found homes for over 5,500 pets.
Nice. Some people might be surprised that there's not just dogs and cats at a humane society sometimes, right?
Right. We have small furries, so that's everything from ferrets, rats, which are very intelligent pets.
Somebody likes them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guinea pigs, ferrets, you name it. If they're a companion animal, like a dog or a cat or a small furry. Birds as well. We get a lot of birds.
The interesting thing about those, they kind of have their own separate bird sanctuaries that we've done shows on those before. So there are people that specialize in that.
Exactly. Exactly.
So the date, Saturday, April 9th, 6 to 10, Hilton Mystic. It's the place and the date of the Faux Fur Ball for the Connecticut Humane Society. Great cause, great event. And this isn't the only fundraising event that you do throughout the course of the year, right?
Exactly. We hold really fun events all year round. We have our gala auction in the fall up by Hartford, and this year it's going to be at the Hartford Marriott Farmington on November 12th. So, and you can always find information about any of our events or ways you can help at cthumane.org.
Always looking for volunteers too, right?
Exactly.
Priscilla Clark, Development Manager for the Connecticut Humane Society. We learned a lot today, and we thank you for coming on the show, and you are always welcome back.
Thank you much.
You can see this show and many others on our YouTube sites. Till next time, I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Take care.